comic books, movies, TV, and more. Nerds are everywhere. It's time to assemble! It's Nerds United.
Hello and welcome to a brand new Nerds United on the Jittery Monkey Podcast Network, as well as on YouTube and all the podcast apps that you have. We hope you download us on all of the episodes or on all the platforms. Really give our numbers a boost. Or if that's too much work, just tell like 4 or 5 people every week about Nerds United. Anyway, I'm your host, Greg Mahochko, and this awesome cat right here, this hip daddy. Nope, I apologize. I wish I could take that one back. Is the co-host of the year for now and forever across all podcasts that have been, are, or ever will be. He recently graduated to a new age in life. We wish him a happy belated birthday. That is Mr. Mike Luther. Hello, Mike.
Thank you. And by the way, I don't mind being a hip daddy. That's
okay.
Yeah, that sounds cool, actually. I'm especially my age with my beard.
You're a cool cat and a hip daddy. How are you, sir? How was your birthday?
Birthday was fine. Went to my mom's, had some chicken enchiladas there and some chocolate cake that she makes. Good. Had to go to a work party, but that was fine. They had good food there as well. And yeah, that's about it. Nothing too exciting, but it was good. Still had fun.
Good. And low key and safe. Everybody got home safe at the end of the night, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good.
I mean,
I know how you kids like to party, so
they're not on a Wednesday night.
Oh, well, come on now. Who doesn't want to party on a Wednesday night, Mike?
I mean, I understand,
Oh man, well that's good to hear. And the Jeep is still running with all 4 brakes.
Jeep has all the brakes on it. There was a little snafu, if you would say. What was it? Not Wednesday, Tuesday, I think. I was scheduling. You know this. I'm selling this for the listeners or for myself when I re-listen at some point in the future. There was a little thing where I think I want to say on Tuesday. I had an appointment scheduled at the DMV at 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Right. Now, to go back a little bit further, they've been doing They've been doing work on our roads, the one in front of my house, for probably about, honestly, 2, 3, 4 weeks now at least. Right.
Oh, at least.
It hasn't been that big of a deal. They have it blocked off, but if you like, it's blocked off to through traffic.
Right.
So I can come in and go to my apartment and stuff. Right. So I had the appointment at 11. I know I kind of want to leave early because sometimes it takes a little bit of time because you got to wait to have the construction people kind of move, and you got to wait to get out of the way and stuff like that so you can leave. So I was like, it only takes me 15 minutes to get there. I'm like, I'm going to leave at 10, and I can just wait around somewhere. So I go out to my car at about 10 o'clock, and they have the street completely tore up. I'm talking like huge chunks of asphalt where you can't drive on it. It's not like, right now it's dirt and stuff or whatever. This is like huge chunks of asphalt. And there's probably about a 2-foot drop immediately behind like our cars.
Which
so there's no way I can leave.
And I don't know how they justify doing that,
Well, I don't either. You would think you would think that they would give you some kind of notice or whatever. Now, here's what I'll say. I didn't know how long it was going to take. And so I was trying to think of like how, because I got to go to the work party tomorrow and I got to go here and here, if it's groceries, what I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But I know I can't leave then. So that was about 10 o'clock. Now, I will tell you at about 12:30, they had everything finished. Well, not finished, but they had it drivable at least. That the ditch was no longer there. So I was able to go and renew my license and all that fun stuff.
Good.
And then the new thing is today, and I don't think I told you this. So we did get a notice on our cars and in our mailbox. And I had a guy, because I went out to my car, and a guy was talking to me out there. And essentially, I'm not sure exactly, but something to do with asphalt. Essentially, before Monday morning at like 6:00, we need to have all of our cars moved, and we got to basically find public parking for like probably over a week. They said it could be like up to 2 weeks, whatever, because they put down some, because you can't drive on it. Like they're going to put down some kind of asphalt, and that has, I don't know, do construction
cure
stuff,
or whatever. Yeah.
But they did give us notice about that, and so I know about that. So I think I know where I'm parking, both me and Nolan's vehicle, and it's a short walk to the back to the house. So
is it? And of course, December is the best time for you to have to walk farther than normal to from your vehicle or to your vehicle. So I love their timing of it all. I was in your town today, obviously, which we'll get into, and I did drive on that through traffic only or part, and it's not fun, like my Whale Shark V6 and minivan's not quite prepared for off-road conditions like we almost experienced. So,
well, what's funny too is, I don't know, you probably didn't experience this, but like me and Nolan were joking about it, and so they have signs up that says road closed to through traffic, but there's a distance apart so you can drive through them, but we swear they get closer and closer together. They're
trying to keep people out, I guess.
I guess so. Well, that's okay.
All right. Well, speaking, I guess let's jump right to it.
Yep.
I was in your town today. I was in your town Tuesday as well, and that's when you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Yeah.
I brought you some comics, and in turn picked some comics up.
Yes.
The comics that you requested, I said, man, I need to get this Dark Knights of Steel in your hands. Volume 1. Volume 2 is going to be out here within the week. And I wanted you to have that because I'm very excited about Volume 2. And you had requested to reread the first 3 volumes of Die from Image Comics. And you had said to me, this was earlier in the day, that was
what I said to him. I coughed at him.
That's right. You coughed at me, coughed on me. But you said, hey, there's a stack of comics. Go ahead and take those with you. And I said, Mike, I don't have room for stacks of comics. And you, of course, being you and me being me, you said, do it. And I said, okay. I buckled under the peer pressure. So I'm excited because I know you've talked about these books, obviously, but I'm, going through the titles here. Just want to tell the listeners what you gave me, and among the, yes, sir.
Greg, by the way, you missed it, because not only did you buckle under peer pressure, but you buckled the comics in the car.
Oh, yes. And in fact, I have that to show. I said, they're not in a box. How am I going to keep these from just flying all over the place? Wait a minute, I've got kids. And so I did. I buckled them in. Good. Thank you for reminding me, because I would have forgotten.
It was right there.
It was right there. God, you're so good. Why do you even keep me around? I'm holding you back, Mike. Holding you back.
I need a producer, so
So a lot of great books that you gave me. So I'll just kind of go down the titles here. A lot of these we've talked about in the past, but we have volumes 1 and 2 of Gideon Falls, which is the Jeff Lemire story from Image. We have Booster Gold 52 pickup, volume 1 from, of course, DC Comics. We have Deceased, Curse of the Man-Thing, Sweet Tooth, volume 2, which I believe I have Sweet Tooth volume 1 in the box behind me. That's how far I've gotten on the.
Okay. I was like, I hope somebody has volume 1.
And Infinity Gauntlet. That terrific story from way back in the day, which, gosh, seems like it's so long ago. So as I told you before, this bundle of comics here probably should only take me a year to get back to you.
Yep.
But at the same time, I've got more down in the box behind me here. So let's see, it's almost 2024. I'd say by 2028.
Probably. That sounds about right.
Okay. As long as you're good with that.
That's fair. Yeah.
And
by the time you get them back to me, I'm going to forget about them, and then I'll reread them. Yeah.
And I'll still have had them less than some people have had a Lock and Key. Sorry, Josh. Josh had you've had car trouble. Josh hit a pothole last night and bent a rim, an aluminum rim. I apologize, folks, for the crassness of what I'm about to say, but I said it's going to take one heck of a rim job to fix that.
You're right, though. That's what they give you. They give you a rim job.
But he says you can't fix an aluminum rim or something like that. I said, come on, Josh.
Yeah, come on, Josh.
All right, so that's okay. So that's what I acquired without having to pay for it. But since last time we got together, I did make a quick Twilight Comics Swansea, Illinois run. And I did so with my oldest because last Saturday we went and got more Christmas lights. And while we were out running that errand, I said, let's go to Twilight. So cleared out my pull folder, which includes issue 8 of Superman, Dawn of DC Superman. This one is titled Chained. Looking forward to getting into that issue. Like where that story's going. Yeah. Number 15 of Grimm, our friend Stephanie Phillips. I mean, at this point, it's more of a one-sided thing. She's probably more of an acquaintance.
Right. She may remember you.
She may. And I feel like this is going... So, years back, Grant Morrison did a limited series run called Klaus. Anyway, it's Santa Claus, but Klaus. And like seasonally, there'd be like a next chapter or, some little one-off. And I feel like that's kind of what we're getting here with our friend Keanu, because we have another Berserker.
Ooh, okay.
This one is Berserker Fallen Empire. Now, it says issue 1 on the back, but I think it's just a one-off. So, got that. Now, in line with the Klaus and that seasonal Christmas holiday mythology, I was informed about this, and I thought this might be all ages, and then I opened it up just randomly here. Not all ages.
Okay.
But Krampus.
Oh, okay. Did you post that online? I've seen that somewhere.
I think I commented on Twilight.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Okay.
So, now, what do I mean is I don't think it's as all ages, and maybe this is just out of context or something. But anyway, that just happened completely randomly. Opened up to this page here, and I kind of let the art.
Okay, all right.
So I'm like, maybe if it was just a fun-loving, Krampus going to save the holiday, mythos, then that's one thing. But I don't know if that's that might not be quite as
might not be bedtime reading for the kids.
Might not be.
Might not be.
But speaking of oddball Christmas media, I'm going to make it a point within the time we meet. By the time we talk again, to watch Violent Night, which came out last year.
Yes.
So,
and I think it's on Amazon, isn't it?
Yes.
Amazon Prime. Yeah.
So,
because I was wanting to rewatch it.
So we should do a little watch party, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I'll fall asleep, and you'll.
I was gonna say, that's not gonna happen, but
all right. So that's my acquisitions for the week, outside of some Pokemon cards for my boy.
Nice.
Yeah. So I get him the Pokemon cards. I kind of he's back looking at something else in the store, so I kind of just slide them in and pay for them. Make sure that they're paid for and put them in the bag. And I said, "Here you go." He said, "Mom said I had enough Pokemon cards." I was like, first of all, I don't think Mom has ever said you have enough of anything. That's why we have so much.
Right.
I said, oh, okay. Well, sorry. He says, thanks for getting these to me, Dad. He's like, I like you more now. He's like, usually I like Mom more, but because Mom caves and buys stuff quite a bit. I said, he's like, but right now I like you more. I said, is that how it is? Like you're just paid off? He's like, yeah.
Well, see, what you should have said when he goes, hey, Mom said I had enough. You go, hey, Dad runs this house, okay? Dad's in charge. And then you go, don't tell your mom, okay? Whatever you do, don't tell your mom.
We all know the truth. It doesn't matter what Dad says.
Right.
All right, Mike. So let's get into we got a couple of fun Marvel based topics here that we want to get to, and we're very excited. But let's get into some of the quick hit news and notes. I guess courtesy of the Nerds United Facebook page, we were gifted earlier this week with a trailer for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Yes. And
I think we both had the same reaction is, now we want to go back and watch Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah. And actually, I had to go back even further because I know this is like in a series or whatever. So first I went on Google. I'm like, trying to figure it out. And it was like, this is the 36th, whatever of Kong and the 700th of Godzilla. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm wanting.
No.
But I think it goes back to like Kong Skull Island and then Godzilla King of Monsters and then Godzilla versus Kong.
No, I thought there was one before Godzilla King of Monsters. Wasn't there just Godzilla?
I don't know. I don't know if that counts.
I feel like there was, but there was the reason people didn't like that as much is it had like 15 minutes where you actually saw Godzilla, and most of it was like Bryan Cranston running around, which is great. I mean, I'm not dogging Bryan Cranston, but I heard it other shows say, "Damn it, when I buy a ticket for a Godzilla movie, I want to see Godzilla. I just want to see giant monsters fighting."
Yeah, I think you're right. There might have been a Godzilla, then maybe. Was there another concept? But regardless, there's a series of them we have to watch. And I forget when that one comes out, but it looks really good. And I was never like really a huge fan of like the Godzilla Kong. I mean, it was never in my my viewing thing. You know what I mean? I guess.
I mean, like,
it still looks good.
A lot of those, I guess, kind of a lot of those old ones just don't. Best friend of the show, Josh, loves those movies.
Okay.
And now, so there's that Godzilla -1 or something that's in theaters.
Yeah.
And I think what people are saying is like, maybe not have the best effects, but for $30 million or something, they created such a story. I don't know anything about the movie. I was like, and my thought was, how can two studios both like have rights, but you go, one of them's American made, one is Japanese made, so I'm sure that there's some shared custody, I guess.
Well, and my guess would be it's probably public domain. That would be my guess, guys. I have no clue though. I am just making that up.
Sure,
and it should be right. That's what happens in my life sometimes.
Yeah, that has worked out for you historically a lot.
Yes, so far so good.
This new look now, Godzilla and King Kong are fighting together against a new super evil, which boggles the mind. But I'll watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's giant and giant monsters fighting one another. So
here's the odd thing, I guess, for lack of a better word. This is a movie that really I should watch in theaters on a big screen, but I'm also not compelled to go to the theater to watch it, and I don't know why.
I don't know either, Mike.
Would
maybe
you
I can drag your old bones out.
Would you be going to the theater to watch it? I mean, because you didn't even see the Marvels in theater. If you're not seeing the Marvels,
yeah, there are a lot of movies. I don't think I've been to the movies since my anniversary.
And what did you see then?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with my wife.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
And she picked it
really good
because she's like, she's like, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3? And I'm like, I mean, I had, but I'm like, oh, yeah, I'd definitely watch it. She's like, you did, didn't you? Like, she's like, because you just go whenever you want. I was like, sometimes.
Also not whenever I want, but whenever I can. Yes.
Right. Usually at like 10 o'clock on a Friday.
Right. Right.
So would I go see? I'll tell you what, Mike. If I don't know when, I didn't even look to see when it is in theaters.
Yeah,
but maybe we should go.
I would not be against it.
I'd be for it. All right, we're gonna make plans.
All right, excellent.
There was another trailer out there that you sent me that I just posted on Facebook an hour ago because I forgot. And that is the season 4 teaser trailer for season 4 of The Boys.
Yes,
looks bloody, belligerent, and again, I'm here for it.
So I don't think you've seen it yet, but literally right before we started recording, I sent you something about The Boys, and it's a little article from Screen Rant, I think. Mm-hmm. And it says, craziest thing we've ever done. Again, The Boys showrunner teases season 4 scene. Now, what I think, and by the way, I love The Boys.
Let's remember that season 3 opened up with one person crawling into another person's urethra, sneezing and exploding him.
Yes. My thing with that, you got to figure out a different way to promote The Boys now.
Yeah,
because just saying like, oh man, it gets even crazier. I think season 3 is when they did
Herogasm,
right?
Yeah,
and that was supposed to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they let us show this,
right?
And they hyped it up that much where it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy, and it was fine.
It was a popcorn fart compared to the hype.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you got to figure out a different way to promote The Boys rather than this is just getting wild.
And I don't know, maybe like again, I'm enjoying The Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
years ago, I mean, gosh, close to 15 years. I enjoyed the Boys trade paperbacks that I read. I never read the entire story, but the first 2 or 3, and I enjoyed those. So I'm familiar enough with the world, but like I'd like to see some character development.
Yeah.
Like Homelander can't just be a megalomaniac. I mean, I guess he can. It's working out for him pretty well, I suppose. But even his appearance at the finale there of Gen V, spoiler. He comes in, and you would think that he would want to. I don't, because again, there's this virus that's being created. Again, spoiler for everybody who hasn't seen Gen V. Sorry, Josh. There's this virus that's taking out the soups, and you would think he would come in and want to put an end to that, but he kind of, I don't know, more or less puts this out. He's like, why are you attacking your own kind? You're like, oh, I'm attacking them because they're, so.
Well, and to be fair, we don't know it was a very short scene in Gen V. He wasn't in like full episode or anything like that. So we don't know, and we know that The Boys is going to be a continuation of Gen V. Mm-hmm. And look, I think there has been some. In fact, I know there's been some good character development. I mean, even with Homelander, he's getting crazier, which I don't know necessarily good character development, but there is character development.
Sure, fair.
I like I said, I just want to have something more. Yes, we know it's wild. Yes, we know it's crazy, and I guess that's what's going to get new people on board. Maybe, I don't know. But one thing I was thinking about when you mentioned having read The Boys, at first I was like, wait a minute, didn't I give you The Boys, like the comic book? And no, I didn't. And the reason is because I didn't want that laying around with kids accidentally. Like I saw that, and I'm like, nah, I can't get that to them.
That's why I've not gone out and purchased any now.
Yeah.
So, not the best for your little eyes.
Yeah.
that would raise a lot of questions.
Yeah. But like I said, we both like The Boys season 4. I don't know if it says when it came out or if it just said coming soon. A lot of them are doing that, but now, by the way,
just not getting into the specifics.
Yeah, because they're like, we don't know what's going to happen in this world.
Let's see.
It might be online though.
I am trying to see. Season 4 premieres 2024.
Yeah, okay.
That's as specific as we're getting here.
It could be January 1st.
Or January. Wouldn't that 2nd. Be a treat?
Yes.
Oh, wouldn't that be a hoot? That reminds me. Are we supposed to get Reacher today, or is that next week?
Next week, December 15th.
Oh, okay. They're dropping the first 3 episodes at once.
Yeah,
I think they said in season 1. I read they did the entire series in one drop, but
really?
They did apparently, but they're only doing the first 3 episodes, which makes sense, because they hate us.
True.
So, speaking of things, that's a horrible transition. I apologize. Ryan Reynolds made a social media post this week after the comic book trades, the comicbook.coms, the comic book movie and CBRs, etc., kept sharing leaked images or long lens images of the set and surprise characters, things like that. Can I read the entire quote from our good friend, Mr. Reynolds? Mm-hmm. Surprises are part of the magic of theatrical movies. It's important for us to shoot the new Deadpool film in real, natural environments using practical effects as opposed to making the movie indoors and digitally. Telephoto lenses continue to spoil surprises and create a difficult situation for everyone. Here's hoping some of the websites and social channels hold back showing images before they're ready. The film is built for audience and joy, and our highest hope is to preserve as much of that magic as possible for the finished film in the big screen. Part of the reason people post spoilers is because they're excited. I realize these aren't real world issues, and it's firmly in the good problems bucket. I love making this movie. That was as tame and almost un-Ryan Reynolds-like, of a statement as I can imagine, but I don't disagree with it at all. And we've talked about this before. I don't need everything shown to me. It's why I stopped watching trailers, in the months leading up to a movie, largely because they already got my money. Like that, I don't need to see more. I think going back to Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, I didn't need to hear the Emperor's in the back of it. I have not clicked on those links that say this X-Men character is back, blah, blah, blah. I haven't done that. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. I just am very excited for this movie, which I think this summer, May, July, something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if it was as close to like July 4th as possible to stick it to that Canadian Wolverine.
I agree with you. I agree with Ryan Reynolds. But here's the problem with it. It's not going to stop. And the reason it's not going to stop is because people click on it. Yeah. So the more clicks they get, the more money they get from it, or views, or however you want to view it. And so they're going to go, oh, well, people like spoiler stuff. Okay, here's another one. There's probably a list of, I want to say, at least 20 different characters that have been spoiled in some way. Sure. Or came close to being spoiled. And like you, I want to see it in the theater. Some people were saying, because I was reading the comments, and some people were saying, well, the only reason Deadpool got made is because someone leaked the trailer. Like, yeah, there's the difference between leaking leaking a not even fan made, but a
digital rendering of what's possible here.
Yeah. And somebody taking a picture of whoever.
Right.
And going like, hey, this character is back now, and now there's no context over it or anything. Let me see it in the theater,
Yep. What's funny is Mr. Reynolds, our close personal friend, made that post 2 days ago. So Wednesday.
Yep.
And CBR on Thursday morning made a social media post and an article about leaked set photo, X-Men character appears, blah blah blah, And then like 3 hours later, they shared his post. And I commented on there. I'm like, so is this going to cause you to do anything different? Like, are you going to respect the wishes of this beloved producer and filmmaker?
Nope.
I mean, I didn't get an answer. I know I'm not going to get an answer like we discussed. I know the answer.
Right.
But it just, you you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're dipping from both hands, and it's, I mean, these media outlets need to be called on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what we here at Nerds United are going to do.
Well, and honestly, the way that, all two of our listeners are going to make sure that they don't click on spoiler links. And honestly, that's really like, if we had more people, that's what we could do, is just be like, hey, just don't click on the articles at all.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, it's all clicky, and I get that. But when there's a new trailer out, these other websites that are monetized and, they're targeting you with ads and things like that, they will say, ooh, trailer for Kong and X or Godzilla X Kong. It's in the link. You know what we do at Nerds United? We just put the trailer up there. Like, we don't make you do extra work for it. It's like, here's the trailer. Check it out. Oh, comment if you like it, or, things like that. So maybe that's why those outlets make money and we don't. But I also like to think it's because, I don't know. I was going to say something.
We're the good guys.
We are. We're the good guys. And good guys finish last.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
as long as we finish, that's good.
Yep. So I saw this on Facebook, and I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's an old picture that made me smile of trading cards. Comic book trading cards used to be a big thing. I have down in one of the back there, I have some old Marvel cards that I think were just given to me, buddy of mine was offloading them, something like that. And on some of them, like, it would be they all fit in sleeves, and it's 3 across and 3 down, so they could form a picture. And so this particular picture that I shared was one of these cards that's from the Amalgam universe. And so you have, Doctor Strange Fate and Dark Claw and Super Soldier and Spider Boy and Thanoside and Doctor Doomsday. And it's just one of those, we'll never see the likes of this again type of image that maybe missed the 1990s when there was less money floating around in the comic book and media rights world. So I don't know if you had a chance to see that and what your thoughts are on that.
I didn't know what it was, and I'm like, well, that's something Greg did, and I don't know.
Well, you remember the Amalgam universe and
because of
Marvel versus DC.
Yeah.
I'll have to get those out and get those in your hands, because I have quite a bit of the Amalgam universe, but I also have the Marvel versus DC, which is like George Perez, is credible, artists and writers and things like that who put this story together. Again, the likes of which we'll never see again. So, but anyway, that was just a little nostalgia post there. So, Mike, can we get into one of our 2 kind of like latter half of the show topics?
Sure thing.
Well, I came across this article, and this article was from CBR, but it wasn't spoilery.
Okay.
It's somebody's opinion of 10 Marvel projects that the Marvels is better than, or the right way of titling that is opinion or editorial : the Marvels is better than these 10 Marvel projects.
Okay.
So I have not seen the Marvels, but you have.
Yes.
So what I would like to do, with your permission, is go down this list 10-1.
Okay.
And you tell me if you agree or disagree with this Emily from CBR.com.
Okay, so I'm determining whether or not the Marvels is better or worse than what you say.
Correct. What she says.
Okay.
Based on her list. So
yes. Okay.
This is her list.
Okay.
I just thought, this might be some fun, fun fodder for the show. So I'm going to start again. Number 10 Is the Marvels better or worse than She-Hulk?
It's better. It's
Okay.
better. Yeah, definitely better. And look,
right.
She-Hulk is fine. It's fine. I love Tatiana, whatever her name was.
Maslany?
Yes. Great actor. I'll watch a season 2 of She-Hulk, but Marvel's is better.
Okay. Is Marvel's better than The Incredible Hulk?
And having watched Incredible Hulk recently, I would say probably no. I think The Incredible Hulk might slightly be better. Now, somebody could very much argue that it's not. This person maybe did. But I would say Incredible Hulk probably slightly better.
It looks like I'm trying to pull some data. Okay, so Marvel's is sitting currently, again, as of this writing, at 62% on Rotten Tomatoes with an 83% audience score.
Okay.
She-Hulk is a 77% Rotten Tomatoes with Incredible Hulk being 67%
Okay.
on Rotten Tomatoes. So you think slight edge to Incredible Hulk.
Slight edge.
All right. No, that's okay. By the way, Incredible Hulk, MCU or not MCU?
Incredible! That one is it's MCU,
right? Because Robert Downey Jr. pops up at the end.
Yeah, and I believe it came didn't Iron Man come out first and then Incredible Hulk?
Like within months.
Within months, yeah. So yeah.
All right, so that was number 10 and 9. Number 8, Thor: The Dark World.
Oh gosh! Now here's the problem. I love Thor, but Thor: The Dark World definitely was not the best one. Trying to think. Okay, no, it's not even close. We have an old Thor Ragnarok. Okay, I'm trying to think. If I have the two in front of me, which one do I want to rewatch? And gosh, I probably Thor: Dark World. Again, slight edge. None of these are like, oh my gosh, for sure.
Well, some of them will be.
Okay,
I think as we move on.
Okay,
number 7. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
And by the way, tons of flaws in Thor: Love and Thunder. But I like a big chunks of it. So.
And in the number 6 spot, again, according to this individual, Secret Invasion.
Oh, Marvel's is better.
Okay.
Yeah. What's funny? I'm reading Secret Invasion now, like the comic book. And I'm just it could have been so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they had, I don't know, superheroes in it.
They couldn't. They can't do that kind of budget.
I know.
All right. So that's number 6. Number 5. I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm obligated to ask.
Okay.
The Eternals.
Marvel's is better.
Okay. All right.
Marvel's is definitely better. You know what? Eternals, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on podcast. I think Eternals could have been a great movie if you took out 5 of the characters.
Yep.
And
also and I've said this before, not necessarily a convoluted story. Beautiful movie.
Yes.
Visually beautiful. Left a lot of things as still even in the write up here, we're talking about I'll make sure that I quote it correctly. Also, Marvel fans have poked fun at the fact that the ending of Eternals left a giant celestial head and hand sticking out of the ocean, but no other MCU movies have even addressed it. So,
yeah.
All right. In the number 4 spot, we have Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.
Quantumania is better.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, flawed, yes. But I'd go back and watch Quantumania.
Okay. In the number 3 hole, how about one that's outside the MCU, and that would be X-Men: Dark Phoenix.
I'm going to say Marvel's is better.
Okay.
And
why do you hate blue people?
Well, I'm a bluist. Here's the thing.
Somewhere Bluey is cowering.
I know. Oh no. You know what's funny about this is I'm almost positive I bought X-Men Dark Phoenix one night on Vudu. I think it's on my Vudu. I don't know if I've ever watched it more than once.
I've watched it this many times.
Yeah. And I think I would like once Marvel's is on Disney Plus, I'll probably go back and rewatch it. But yeah, I can't say the same. So yeah. Marvel's is better than X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Okay. I think I know which way you're going to go on this one. Once again, obligated to ask. In the number 2 spot, Morbius.
You know what? Sometimes I forget that Morbius was a movie. Honestly, I have a
take that back.
No,
How dare you?
It was a movement. It was a feeling. You know, I'm like, oh, it was also a movie. And sadly, I don't remember much about it at all. I'm going to say Marvel's is better.
What do you mean? Don't remember? He's looking for a cure for his terminal illness.
I know the story, but
blood.
I know the story. I know what the trailer beats. I'm blanking on a lot of stuff. Oh, except for the horrible after credit scene or end credit scene.
Well,
yeah, but yeah. So Marvel's is better.
Number 1 on this list, Fan 4-Stick.
Marvel's is better, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
There are only 3 Marvels, but they're Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Just the fact that they thought Fan 4-Stick. They thought. I know they didn't want it called Fan 4-Stick, but the way they put it on there, to nobody go like, "Hey guys, you know they're going to call it Fan 4-Stick, right?" we took the A, we made it supposed to look. I mean, it's a 4. It's not an A at all. It's Fan 4-Stick. Nobody said something. Although with that movie, I don't think anybody. I think they were just allowed to do whatever. There were things in the trailer that were never in the movie.
Mike, how many times have you seen Fantastic Four, 2015 version?
Oh, honestly, I would guess probably maybe 5 times.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see it in theaters?
I don't remember if I did. Honestly,
I did.
Yeah. Good.
And I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and look. I know it was 2015. I'd have to go back and look and see exactly what part of 2015. There's a chance that I took my pregnant wife to see Fantastic Four in theaters.
And she stuck with you. Look, Fantastic Four, look.
Oh, wait. It's right here on the bottom. 8/7/15. So, yeah, she was pregnant.
Wait, hold on. So you took her Fan 4-Stick. By the way, we call it Fan 4-Stick, not Fantastic Four, because
I'm trying to give them the benefit. You know, I'm trying to change their image.
They get no benefit. And okay, so when you're talking 2015, the Fan 4-Stick, I've seen that one time.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the good Fantastic Four with other people in it, and I'm blanking. Chris Evans and
Michael Chiklis,
Jessica
Alba.
I've seen that probably about 5
that
times.
other guy.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four. I would guess maybe 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fairly recent.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that was fun, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
This little one-sided, not one-sided, not in a negative way, but again, you got to see, you didn't disagree with much of the list.
True.
So, but now the fun part begins, because now we both get to interact, and it's we haven't done a top 5, a genuine, honest to gosh top 5 in a little while, Mike. So I am excited about this because I had an idea several weeks ago at this point.
2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, yeah.
But, you know, this type of idea is evergreen. And the idea was, we've talked about some of our favorite MCU movie moments. There is, you know, the Fan 4-Stick, Fantastic Fours, etc. There's a slew of Marvel movies that aren't in the MCU. And for sake of, I mean, we tried to, I don't know, say put restrictor plates on or anything, but I thought we were just talking movies. I know you were including some, I think you're including some Netflix action. But even though some characters have been pulled into the MCU, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I still view those as non-MCU movies as far as my list is concerned. But I'm excited for this, Mike, and I hope you are too.
Yes, and I would say along with your Netflix thing, I would say the Netflix MCU or Netflix Marvel. The only reason I would count it is because there really was no crossover between the TV shows and the movies. Technically they were in the same studio, but from what I remember, two different people were running them, and I think Kevin Feige was like, yeah, no, they're not even part of it.
Right. Yeah. There was Marvel Studios and it was like Marvel Television or something like that.
Yeah.
So, well, do you want to go first, Mike, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to 2017.
Cool.
In a movie where we thought it was going to be the last of this character. But I'm not even talking about the main character. I'm talking about the debut of X-23. In particular, the fight scene. Yes, for those on the YouTube video, what you see there is the picture of her. And now and I couldn't find the true video image of it. Because what you don't see is her holding a head. It looks like she's just making a pip. But in the movie, which I just watched recently, probably in the last 2 weeks, the Reavers. Now that I can't remember, I think Reavers. They go and they try to capture her, and you hear some screaming and stuff, and then she walks out. She's carrying a backpack, and she's carrying a head, and the fight begins. And she starts destroying all the Reavers, and then Wolverine, or old man Logan kind of at the time, he kind of starts fighting alongside of her, and it's just an amazing scene. And from what I've heard, we might see more of this girl in the future.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Internet.
Yeah. Well, honestly, as I was watching it, I was thinking man, that would be cool to have, X-23 back. So, yep, that's my numero 5.
It's been a minute since I watched Logan.
Well, we talked about the fact that it's hard to go back and watch Logan because it's kind of depressing. And I'll tell you, right, the only reason I started rewatching it is kind of for this list because I'm I know there's something on there. And it's such a good movie, and I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to see if there is, and if there wasn't, I was going to put it on the list. But man, it starts off sad. It just now, okay, I'm that's not the Wolverine I want. I don't want pathetic, old, can barely walk, Wolverine who has to pull his claws out and it hurts. And then worse is Professor X, who doesn't know who he is or where he is most of the time. Obviously, it comes together in the end. They win me over or win you over. And it's a really good story, but yeah, it starts off gosh, this is bad. So,
well, that's a good one. I'm going to go. My number 5 is, you would think that since this is my idea for this list, that I'd be more prepared. But you got to go back almost 20 years. I'm going to find it because I have to know these things. 2007 to a movie starring our good friend Nicolas Cage. And that movie is Ghost Rider. And the scene particularly from this movie is it's less Nicolas Cage and more Sam Elliott. So you get Sam Elliott telling the story of the town or village of San Venganza and the contract and all the souls. And, you come to learn this little bit of tragedy about this town. They just, basically drowned in a river of blood type of thing. And you come to find out that while San is kind of a Espanol for saint, Venganza is Spanish for revenge. So I think they're playing more on the revenge aspect for the name of the town than the saintly aspect. But when you get that history, that little bit of that Old West mentality, and you get it as narrated by Sam Elliott. That's my number 5.
Ghost Rider was one of the DVDs I had in my collection for a long time, and which means that I watched it a lot.
Yeah.
I saw the special features of it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I know some people talk about how it's not, that accurate to the comics and stuff like that, as far as, him eating jelly beans or something like that. Look, it's Nicolas Cage's version. I have no problem with it. I was going to say, do I want to see another version of Ghost Rider? Yes. Also, I know that on the Agents of Shield, I believe there was a Ghost Rider.
Correct.
And we'll probably get another one as well. So I'll see more of it. So yeah, and I remember that scene too. That's a really good scene. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, I approve. So now for my number 4, I want to say we're going back to 2015, but also it could be 2016 or 27 or 2018.
Oh gosh.
Because this is the Netflix Daredevil.
Okay.
And I'm going specifically with the rooftop scene between Punisher and Daredevil. Now, I love this scene simply because it shows, in a way, kind of exactly the similarities and the differences, especially the differences between these two characters. I mean, if you're on the YouTube video, you see Daredevil, he's chained to a chimney or something. Punisher is standing over him with a gun. I remember in the scene, for Daredevil, things are gray. As far as morality goes, he wants the best out of people. He's going to give people a second chance. Punisher says no, and I forget exactly how he says, but it's like, once I put somebody down, they stay down. Meaning,
right.
They're bad. He kills them. Done.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about it. And just the scene is amazing. And also between the two actors, not forgetting his name,
Charlie Cox and John Bernthal.
John Bernthal. Thank you.
Why you keep me around?
Yes, I know we're seeing more Charlie Cox, and obviously we have seen more of him. I hope we see more John Bernthal as the Punisher, and I hope it's as dark and mature as the Netflix series is. But yeah, just amazing scene. And I almost went as far as the Netflix. First of all, rewatching that scene made me want to go back and rewatch all 3 seasons of Daredevil, which I can now, and I have been able to do in the past on Disney Plus. I think it's there now, and it's just so good. I almost chose the hallway fight scene, but I was like, I don't know. I think I like the rooftop scene better. So
okay, you get more action when you get more acting.
Yes,
than the other. So oddly enough, while your number 4 is Daredevil. And Punisher, my number 4 is just the Punisher.
Okay.
And specifically, it's 2004's Thomas Jane version of the Punisher, which, not to say it was like my first Punisher, but I didn't watch the Dolph Lundgren movie. I don't really know. I don't think I knew about the Dolph Lundgren movie until after the 04 version came out. Like I saw it, Video USA, Shadner, Nebraska. I think they had a copy that I never rented. But a new Frank Castle story, and so my favorite scene from this, I mean, there are a lot of good ones. There's a line in there I'm gonna bring up later, but for my purposes for this list, it's towards the end where Frank Castle has ran his gauntlet on the organized crime syndicate that is John Travolta's character's Howard Saint, and now he's doling out the punishment to Saint himself. He has shot him in the side. He's basically incapacitated him. He has tied him to the bumper of a car. He's put said car in motion. He's put a bomb on that car and other cars in the parking lot, and then we just slowly go boom. As Travolta Howard Saint is being dragged through the parking lot while all the cars are exploding around him to his eventual fiery demise.
Okay.
I for whatever reason, I love, not to bring up like the vengeance, because I think in the movie at one point he says, "This isn't vengeance, this is punishment,"
Yeah.
type of thing. But that is that is a very dedicated individual who's highly skilled, who is putting his kind of like Liam Neeson in Taken. I've got a particular set of skills, and that's what Frank Castle does here. Is he removes this crime boss from the inside out, and it culminates in this scene here. So that's why I went with this one. It's very rewarding, I suppose, a scene for me.
Yes. It's been so long since I've seen that version of the Punisher, or really, yeah.
Kevin Nash in that movie.
Yes.
Let's see, Ben Foster, who would pop up in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yes,
as Angel, and this is the line I was going to, has one of my favorite lines in all cinema. Because I don't know if you remember his character. He's like a video gamer. He's got piercings and things like that. And not Bill Pullman. I'm trying to think of the actor who plays the bad guy. He's very torturous and starts, takes the needle nose pliers and pulls out all the piercings and things like that. But before all that happens, when their morale is still high, Ben Foster's character Dave, he's playing his video game and something goes awry. And one of my, I promise, I say this to best friend of the show, Josh, several times a year, and it says, "You're a great disappointment to your mother and I." the way he just says it with an inflection, it's well delivered. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so 04's Punisher with that particular scene.
All right. My next one is in 2016, and we actually kind of talked about this a little bit because I'm talking about the movie Deadpool.
Oh, I've heard of that movie.
Yes, and in particular, the car fight scene.
No.
And what? Why?
Mike, that's my number 2.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay.
So that's you. That's the picture you. So peek behind the curtain is I wanted to for the benefits of not having to go back in later and do all this in post because it makes it so much more difficult and time consuming. I said to Mike, if you can give me some pictures that I can throw in to the recording, I said that'd be great. I said, but feel free to throw in some like red herrings. Send me like 10 pictures, and that way I really don't know which one you're going to use. So this is the one you sent for that bridge fight scene.
Okay,
and this is the one I went with. So
okay, nice. Well, okay, hold on. Yeah, are you talking about because there's a big fight scenes,
I'm talking about like the opening one.
Yeah,
where he jumps down to shoot, and then he's through the opening credits.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And
is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where he jumps in the car and he's and part of it I was going to say is one of the reasons I chose that was in the leaked trailer that I remember seeing.
Yep.
And being excited about it. And I also remember showing it to a friend of mine and him getting excited about it. And this is before that they had said this is like the concept trailer that was leaked. And of course they recreated it for the real trailer, and obviously it was in the movie. It's great action. It's what you would expect from Deadpool. Action, comedy.
And while I don't have any of that selected for imaging, like when they're going through the credits and it's like written by some asshole, directed by some egomaniac, it's just starring the handsomest man in Hollywood, just ridiculous little things like that. Yeah. Good one, Mike.
Thank you.
So it's my number 3.
Yes, your number 3.
My number 3 comes to us from Fox as well. Also where mutants are involved. It was probably, I don't know, this might be controversial, might have been like the high watermark for the X-Men franchise.
Okay.
So it's X-Men Days of Future Past, and it is the end battle with the Sentinels. And one of the reasons why is, and you can see, well, I mean, you can't really see me highlighting, but they're behind the Sentinels is Magneto. Like humans, Bolivar Trask, they feel like they believe the Sentinels are their great weapon because it's all polymer, non-metal. But what they don't know is that at one point in the movie, spoilers, Magneto, finds the train and basically sticks like metal rebar throughout the Sentinels so that now they have metal. Now he can control them. So it's this type of him. I basically kind of boiled it down to, once again, humans are doomed by their own hubris, in thinking that they can outsmart every situation. What we blended from the past to the future. In the future, I don't have an image for this, but you have the Nimrods who are able to basically evolve with mutant technology and things like that. So you have young Professor X, Patrick, as James McAvoy, Patrick Stewart, Professor X, all kind of working through the mind of Wolverine to, make this entire rewrite of history happen. So, I went with that climactic battle from Days of Future Past.
That's a very good movie. All right. My number 2, guess what? We're going back to 2011. Kind of very similar actors involved, though, I think, because I'm going to X-Men First Class.
Ooh.
And the scene in particular, and this is very close to my number 1 too, is the scene where Magneto kills Shaw with, if you remember the scene,
the coin.
With the coin, yes. Magneto and Professor X are actually kind of working together. They need to get the helmet off of Shaw, so Magneto uses his Magneto powers. And by the way, that's a horrible image. It's the best I can find too. It looks like a very drunk Magneto. Like Magneto's had one too many. So he takes the helmet off of Shaw. That way, Professor X can get in his mind and freeze him. And then Magneto puts the helmet on himself, and so Professor X, Charles Xavier, can no longer get in his mind. And then he's basically like, hey, sorry, Charles. And he very slowly takes this coin and he basically, pushes it through the skull. And you see, cinematically, you see Charles Xavier screaming, telling him to stop, telling him, please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Right.
And he's, he's going to do it anyway. Here's the only reason I didn't put it at number 1, and maybe if I went back and rewatched it, I would know the reason why, but I don't know it. I didn't know it at the time. Is why didn't Charles Xavier just unfreeze Shaw? Because there's got to be a reason. And here's the thing: I know there's a reason. I just don't know what it is. I haven't rewatched it in a while. But that's one I've watched so many times. So it was, like I said, but it's just so cinematically and just the way they're acting is, I shouldn't say especially because they're all Sebastian Shaw is just frozen, so I guess good freezing acting. But Xavier, that's oh gosh, that's gruesome. Right.
I don't know if you know this, but Kevin Bacon's okay.
Hopefully, let's hope so. It was that was such a good one. And it's also just a great movie overall. Mm-hmm. Might be, I don't know for sure, but might be one of the best X-Men.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's and it helps set the table. Without the success of that kind of relaunch or reboot, you don't get Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, you don't get the worst actor ever in cinema to be a purple MacGuffin in Age of Apocalypse.
Morbius?
No, the Oscar Isaac.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the best actor. Yeah.
No, worst actor. Yeah.
Probably I would say legendary would world famous.
You might say that.
A Gentle Lover.
I would definitely say that. Yeah,
would-
gentle lover. You know what? I say this in all sincerity. Good singer. He has a song with, I believe, Marcus Mumford. It was on a small independent, probably like British film or something like that. I've heard the song more times than I've never seen the movie. But it's on the soundtrack. It's a good song.
Okay.
So when his movie career fails, and it will, people are going to start seeing through him.
No.
He can always,
No.
he might make it as a singer.
No.
So,
No.
all right. So I think, you see, we shared Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up to my number one.
Okay.
You just did your number.
I did my 2. Yeah.
Okay.
And you did 2 already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I do my number, I have an honorable mention, but I don't have a picture for it.
Okay.
And the reason being is because it's on the closing credits or the end credits of the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with the movie itself, but it's the song "Caught in the Rain" by Revis.
Okay.
I think you probably know the song if you heard it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Revis is a band from Southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say this, I don't just drop this all the time like name drop, but I'm pretty good friends with the lead singer. And they're back. They're making music again as the original group. So anyway, if folks, if you want to go to jittermonkey.com, go deep into the archives catalog of Nerds United, you'll find an old conversation that I have with Justin Holman, the frontman of Revis, from probably 2013. And we talk about getting, that band, getting that soundtrack spot and things like that. So his life's very different now. My life is also different, but that's a great conversation to go back to. So that's an honorable mention. I didn't know if you had any honorable mentions, Mike.
I have a couple. I'll go through them real quick.
Okay.
In Deadpool 2, the Domino Lux scene where she's parachuting and then running, and he's joking around about how Luck isn't very cinematic. The other one is an Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if I sent you this or not. The Amazing Spider-Man, the car thief scene, especially like the tiny knives. I just think it's funny.
I saved this, by the way, as because I tried to keep everything separate. So this image, when I saved it, was Mike Quippy Spider-Man.
Yep. I that's kind of why I liked it. One I kind of talked about, and I forgot it wasn't my honorable mention, is the Daredevil hallway fight scene. And then last is the Blade, the introduction to Blade, like the rave scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it my number one or your number one now?
I started off, so I think you end it, right?
Okay, have at it.
So mine got to go back all the way back to 2014. And guess what? We're still talking about X-Men. We're talking about Days of Future Past.
Okay.
And we're talking about the Quicksilver kitchen scene.
Oh, wait, that's not it.
that's it.
Come on.
Only going to be funny for people that watch the video.
Right.
If you do, it's going to be funny.
You could have said I was there when.
Yeah. Look, if we're talking about best moments, it's got to be the moments that you go back and rewatch. And this is one I will go back on occasion. I did a lot in the past and rewatch it. It's a fun scene. It's a great introduction to Quicksilver, which I think this is the first time we had a Quicksilver was introduced here
in 2014.
I think so. I know we also had it in event Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron was 2015.
Okay, so yeah, this is the first one. And
Mike wins again.
They did it better. The only reason I remember that is because I remember people were comparing the Marvel Quicksilver to the X-Men Quicksilver.
Sure.
The X-Men Quicksilver was better. Just the slow motion scene. It's surprisingly enough, it's a quick scene, if you will, but it's so cinematically done well. I wish we could have seen more of Quicksilver. And yes, I know he was in the next one, X-Men something or other. He had the house saving scene.
Apocalypse, wasn't it?
Apocalypse. Yes, thank you. But yeah, look,
Worst actor ever. Evan Johnson, right?
Evan Peterson.
That's right. I was close.
Yes,
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. We were going to get there eventually.
It took a minute, but I'm glad
it takes some time with our brains.
Here's what I did not know about Evan Peters.
Okay.
Evan Peters is not a young man.
Not anymore, no.
He's 36 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably aged. Yeah.
But I'm saying the 2014, I thought he was a 18, 19-year-old kid back then.
Oh.
So, but that's on me. Because, I mean, look, he's got a youthful face.
Yep.
So do I.
Yes. Yes, I don't because I have a lot of gray in my beard. Greg, can I guess your number one?
You can try.
Okay. Is it the Blade rave scene?
Holy shit. How did you guess?
Because when I mentioned the Blade rave scene, I saw a look in your eye that said, oh, shit. That's his honorable mention. Okay. But hey, no, it's a really good scene. I want you to tell the listeners about it.
This is the scene that spawned this entire conversation. Because I was thinking about it, and I was like, my mind always came back to Blade, to this opening scene from the first movie where a couple of guys like us, young or much younger than, at the time, we're being escorted into this kind of underground type of club by women who are well out of our league, and all of a sudden it starts to like the showers come on and it starts to rain down blood, and these guys are, or at least maybe it's just one guy, I don't know, freaking out. He's like, and the crowd start, they reveal themselves to be vampires, and you just kind of not so much a record scratch, but Wesley Snipes as Blade makes his entrance in a very prominent way, and then he just goes to town, and he doesn't hold back. He's got that Punisher mentality, but for the undead, so it's like it's a little bit more forgivable because when he spikes them, then they turn to ash, and when Punisher does it, they just turn into a lump of bleeding on the concrete. But yeah, this is the scene that over the last couple of weeks since I pitched the idea, my mind kept coming back to this one. This was the one that for me was never in doubt. And a few of the other ones juggled. Some got added on the list late. Some, dropped off. But this was the one for me that I knew that I wanted to talk about because I think in the since the arrival of the MCU, I think Blade gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
And Blade 1 is a great movie. Now, the effects are heavily dated, right? Yes. I mean, it doesn't look... And I shouldn't even say the effects. I'll say the effects at the climax when Deacon... Not Deacon Frost. Is it Deacon Frost?
No, it was Deacon Frost, yeah.
Thank you. When he becomes like the big blood monster. That's really it. I mean, everything else seems very practical, very believable for the extent that you can with vampires. Mike, I don't know if you know, vampires are not real.
That's what you think.
But so I just think that Blade gets forgotten because since Blade Trinity, which you were able to send me this quick one from, which again essentially is a non-everybody's version. Right? Yeah, for all the ladies out there. This is just a non-suited Deadpool. Essentially, was Hannibal King in Blade Trinity, but Was that as good as the first two? Maybe not, but by God, I still enjoyed the heck out of that movie.
Agreed.
But because of some of the off-screen issues that Wesley Snipes had since that movie, I think doing a stint down in county or something like that, probably minimizing that, and the fact that Blade Trinity didn't reach those higher markers as the first two. I think a lot of people do forget about the Blade movies. But I don't know if you get to where we are now without the Blade movie. Think of before, when did Blade come out? Like 1998?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Might help if I could type. Blade, 1998. In 1993, I think we had a Captain America movie.
Oh.
Did you ever see that movie?
No, I've watched people talk about it. Red Letter Media.
1990. I'm sorry, not 93. 1990. First of all, as far as movies go, you know what you're getting, but still, I invite you, Mike, to give it a watch sometime.
Sure.
That did not convince me one bit, but if nothing else, you could watch it because you'd be like, oh, that's where Marvel movies were. And then, fast forward 8 years to 1998 to Blade, which again is not a top tier character, I don't believe, in comics, in book sales. And we got such a great movie out of that. For that reason alone, I think it needs to be given some, more flowers.
So I will say for Blade, one thing I didn't post this, but new Blade game announced from Deathloop developers. Arcane Lion, the developer behind 2021's Deathloop, which I guess that's a good one. I have no idea. Has announced its next project, a video game focused on the iconic vampire hunter Blade. Alongside confirming its next project, there was a teaser trailer for the game, and they called it a mature single-player third-person game set in the heart of Paris.
I'm gonna share it. I'll share the video because I have it pulled up now. I'm gonna watch it, but realistically, I don't have time for video games, so I probably won't play it.
Yeah, I know that. It went along with the Blade thing.
Yeah, but I will, make sure that other people are. And speaking of, we didn't talk about it, but apparently at the Game Awards, I don't know if Anthony Mackie hosted, but he was there and confirmed that we're going to get a season 2 of Twisted Metal.
Oh, yes, which is good. I know we both love Twisted Metal, the series, and the game too.
Although it's been a long time since I played that game.
Yeah.
So, Mike, this was a lot of fun. We haven't done top 5 in a while.
I know. And guess what we're going to do next week?
Oh, what?
Another top 5.
Oh, what? On what?
We're doing top 5 Santas, I guess. Could movie Santas? Right. We just decide.
Pop culture Santas.
Pop culture Santas. Yes. Keep it open.
Keep it open. Have you finished? Have you been watching the Santa Clauses?
I have. I don't know. I don't think I'm up to date. I just recently watched The Santa Claus today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We plugged in the old. So we have limited HDMI ports on our main TV here in the front room. So we've got the one for cable because we still pay for cable. How else am I going to watch the Huskers, right?
True.
We have one for the Roku. We have one, and then the third one kind of gets split between the Nintendo Switch that we can put that on the dock and me and Garrett can play, and the DVD player, DVD/Blu-ray. So we unplugged the Switch, plugged in the DVD, and we watched some Frosty the Snowman tonight. We watched Year Without Santa Claus. Like I might be an old curmudgeon, but I'm starting to get into that holiday spirit. So.
Hey, one thing didn't tell you, dude. I went driving around looking at Christmas lights.
That's awesome.
Yes. So look, I
had an appointment here in Belleville earlier this week, and it was not a late appointment. It was like 5 o'clock, and I was only there 45 minutes. But as I'm driving by, there's this house that it was a smaller version of the Griswold house, like just lights everywhere. And I called up my wife and I said, what are you doing? She's like, oh, we're trying to do homework and things like that. I said, oh man, because my question would be, I'm coming home. How quick can you get shoes and coats on those boys? I want to take you by this house. Like that's how, that's what we used to do as kids. Like it was cheap entertainment, especially when gas was not over $3 a gallon.
Yeah.
So, no, that's awesome. Yeah. I think this weekend we go see Santa Claus.
Nice.
And I think we're going to get the tree up because we got to get the tree up eventually. So
the tree up, yeah.
I mean,
you got to have somewhere for Santa to put the presents.
Be really funny if we didn't put a tree up and be like, dear Santa, please just use one of the trees outside.
Yeah.
And then see how many presents were still there in the morning.
Right.
So, all right, my friend, thank you for hanging out with me. I really enjoy our time together. And thanks for all the reading material that you've given me.
Same.
We will. That's right. That's it for this episode of Nerds United. We'll meet again next week, and we're going to talk about our favorite Santa Clauses. So for the co-host of the year, Mike Luther, I'm Greg Mahochko. Here at Nerds United, we remind you each and every week to be kind.
And rewind.
This is a production of the Jittery Monkey Podcast Network. For more jittery shenanigans, go to jitterymonkey.com.